Hey folks, and welcome back. And as you know, coming up this week I'm set to do a review of these two guitars, the Harley Benton Telly and the Glary style T-style. And when I was putting it together, I thought, how am I going to compare these? And also, how can I make it interactive for you guys? So what I actually did was I came up with a checklist, and initially I just came up with 8 categories, which were purchase experience, setup, finishing, tech spec, controls, playability, tone, and extras. Now, the strangest thing is, when I look back at it, I actually was able to break all of these down an awful lot further. And so what I'm going to do for you today is I'm going to give you my list, and if you stay till the end, you will get a link to download this 70-point checklist. So I've got the CGS 70-point guitar rating checklist coming right up. Yeah, I was absolutely amazed that I managed to come up with a 70-point checklist, but I broke down a lot of the sections that I told you about in the intro there, and I realized that there were several points to each. So I want to go through them today, and as I said before, if you stay till the end of the video, you'll be able to download a copy of this, because I'd really like your feedback and input to know if I have included everything that you would include, or if maybe I've gone a bit over the top. Anyway, let's start with the part 1, which is purchase experience. So the first thing I asked about was what the range of choices in. So for example, in these guitars, what sort of color options they come with, pickup options, and all of that good stuff. So that's the first point. Second point, obviously, usually for a lot of people, this is a big one, and that is price. Then ease of ordering and purchase, whether that's in a shop or on a website. The shipping, packaging and protection. How well are they shipped and packaged if they are sent in the post? And also delivery speed and service. How quick do they turn up? For example, the Harley Benton usually took about 3 days from point of order. The Glary is there next day. However, that is not the end of that, because do you require a signature, or are they just dumped? Because so many times the Glary guitars have just been dumped on my doorstep and left without any signature, so they could easily have been stolen. And then, does it include the hang tags, and most importantly, the inspection ticket or docket? And finally, in the purchase experience, I've said communication and after sales, what are they like? And we can rate all these things, so I'm hoping that that's what we will do with these couple of guitars later in the week. So then we move on to setup, and I've listed some basic stuff that I think you should see and look for on every guitar setup, and that is neck relief out of the box, action out of the box at both the 3rd and the 12th fret, the strings match the fretboard radius, the intonation out of the box, the nut is correctly cut and that is of good quality, also that the nut is free moving and lubricated, the pickup height, and finally the tuning stability. So there's 7 elements of a setup that I would look for. Can you think of any more? If you can, let me know. Then we move on to the finishing of the guitar, and I would look for paintwork finishing and looks, wood quality and grain and looks, marks, dents, scratches or blemishes, fretboard finish, fretboard condition, because the two things are different. Fretboard finish is how well it's been sanded and shaped and radiused, and the condition is whether or not it's been oiled and looked after. The fretboard inlays, are they nice and flat and easy? The fret polish and feel, the actual frets. Are the frets level? Is there any buzz or dead spots? The fret ends, are they smooth or have they got fret sprout? Are the side dots all in the right places? Are the binding and plastic elements of the guitar all in the right places? And finally, has the guitar been cleaned and polished? So that is all the finishing stuff that I'd look for. And then moving on to the tech spec, and a lot of this is about quality of hardware. So let's start by looking at whether or not the neck is straight, whether it's got a bow, or worse still, a warp in the neck. Does the neck fit the neck pocket if it's a bolt-on neck? And also, if it's a bolt-on neck, is the neck angle set right? In fact, you could look at that on a set or a through neck as well. And then all of these hardware quality points, looking at the hardware quality of the trim, bridge and saddles, the controls, the control cavities and shielding, cover plates, pickup selector, output jack, tuners and fine tuners, the strap buttons, scratch plate or pick guard, the retaining screws and bolts. Are all the screws and bolts all in the pick guard, and have they all been tightened down? The neck plate and also the neck plate screws, are they all in place and are they nice and tight? Hardware quality of the string retainers, hardware quality of the pickups, now that is a big one, and the pickup surrounds, the quality of the strings, and finally I always like to shake and rattle a guitar around to see if there's any movement or buzz or vibration, and the same when you play the open strings, does anything buzz? So that is the technical spec that I would look for. Next up, controls. Volume control, is it smooth in terms of tapering? And also, is the volume logarithmic, because that's how our ears hear volume. Then the tone control, is that smooth? Is it linear? Because that's how we would best control the tone, so that it gradiates over the travel of the pot. Does the pickup selector work? Does it function? Any push-pull, do they function? And finally, any actives? Is there batteries? Is there active pickups? Is there a tuner built in? Are there any electronics? And does that all work? So that's the controls. Then we get to the biggie, which is playability. And when it comes to playability, there's a lot of things to look for. First of all, ergonomics when you're standing. Ergonomics means, does it fit the body and feel comfortable? So when you're standing, is the weight good? Is it too heavy, or is it nice and light? And when you're standing with it on the strap, does it balance? The same thing for when you're sitting. Does it feel like a decent weight, or is it slipping off down your leg? Or does it feel like a nice weight? And also, does it balance on the lap? In both standing and seating positions, does the neck have lift or dive? All of those good things. Upper fret access is really important. Can you get right up to the top frets, and actually is the cutaway nice so that you can get in there? Does the neck feel and play really nicely, both with chords and leads? And also, it's worth checking half and full step bends for playability, to make sure those don't choke out on the neck. Lastly, a few more bits about the neck. What's the thickness like? Now this is very subjective and it will suit different people. I like a nice thick chunky neck. Does it taper? I.e., is there a thicker bit at the body end, the neck end, etc. The profile and shape of the neck. Is it a C shape? Is it a D shape? Is it a V shape? And finally, what is the fingerboard radius like? Is that comfortable to play? So all those things on the scope of playability. And only now do we get to what I would consider to probably be the thing that most guitarists look for, and that's the tone. So first of all, what are the tone range and options and selection settings like? Have you just got a 3-way like these tellies, or is there a 5-way? Have you got push-pull pots to split a humbucker into a single coil? All those things need checking out. Then it's about whether or not there's clarity and definition in the tone, and that a lot of that comes from the pickup, but also comes from the guitar. Also, the depth and broadness of the tone range. Does it cover all of the range, or are there dead spots? And then finally, the character of the tone. Is it pleasing to your ear? And then there are 2 more options in the tone range, and that is, what's the resonance like and what's the sustain like? And all of those things feed into the tone. We're nearly there. The final bit is the extras. Are there any added extras in the case? Is there case candy like a strap, a stand, some picks, a bag, a gig bag? And then finally, is there a case included, and what is the quality of the case like? So there you have it. They are all of my options, 70 of them, count them, and they are the bits that I would look at. Have I missed anything, or have I added things in twice? Or what do you think of my list of 70-point checklist? I will put a link right here so that you can download this exact checklist, have a look through it and see what you think, and let me know if you think that's a comprehensive checklist when buying an electric guitar. It's the list I'm going to use to judge these two guitars later in this week or early next week, whenever we can manage to do it. And it's also something that I'm going to put up for you guys to mark these guitars on as well. So if you've bought a Glary, or if you've bought a Harley Benton Telly, then you'll be in a position to be able to put your marks down for one or the other, or both, like I'm going to. And then we'll really get a final result of which of these two guitars you think is the best. And also, because as always, you guys do the review, I just do the demo and maybe come up with these lists. So if you like a copy of this list, I'll make sure that I linked it here again so that you can go and download your own copy. Really love to hear your feedback on this. Is it the most comprehensive list that you've ever heard of, or have I missed stuff? I'll be back just as soon as I can. If you've enjoyed this, don't forget to like, give it a thumbs up, and also it really can't hurt to subscribe, and if you do, click that bell icon so that you don't miss my uploads, particularly not the review of these two guitars. I'll be back with those as soon as I can, but in the meantime, as always, my good friends, you take really good care.